This video is designed to show some examples of good and not so good elementary math questions dealing with the topic of money. Since I'm looking to develop elementary math content within Khan Academy, I chose an example of a basic, intermediate, and advanced math question within elementary. This is an example of a good basic money math question within elementary. The reason why it is considered a good question is, first of all, it provides a real-life, relatable scenario for second graders. This is important because what it will do, it will foster a love for math for these young people. And the reason for that is because they can understand and see that math is important right now. And it's within a context that a second grader will be involved in. And it does not show that math is for 15 years from now when they finally get a job, but it is right now. It is also considered a good math question because it has the words "in all," which are key addition words, and it's very important to develop an understanding of when to add and subtract, especially at a young age, and providing the words "in all" or key addition words whenever you're looking at problem solving. And finally, as far as the standards are concerned, it is in line with Common Core Standard 2.MD.8, which deals with working with time and money, and finally the NCTM standard of computing fluently, which deals with the expectation of pre-K to second graders developing and using strategies for whole number computations with a focus on addition and subtraction. And those are the reasons why this is an example of a good basic money math question within elementary. This is an example of a good intermediate math question. This problem was taken from www.pearsonsuccessnet.com. The first reason why this is a good math problem is because it provides a real-life scenario for a third grader, which is important in order to engage students and also develop a love for math in young people. Students will completely understand why they are learning the concept and also when it can be applied within their lives. Another reason why this is an example of a good intermediate math question is because it falls in line with Common Core Standard 3.OA.3, which deals with using multiplication and division within 100 to solve word problems. This question also falls in line with Common Core Standard 3.OA.7, which deals with multiplying and dividing within 100. The final Common Core standard this problem falls in line with is 3.OA.8, which deals with solving multi-step word problems. And finally, as far as the NCTM standards are concerned, under the topic of problem solving, this problem is good because it deals with the idea of students being able to solve problems that arise in mathematics and in other contexts, and also being able to apply and adapt a variety of appropriate strategies to solve problems. These are the reasons why this is an example of a good intermediate elementary math question. This is an example of a good advanced math question within the context of elementary dealing with the topic of money. The reason why this is a good example of a math question is because, once again, it provides students with a real-life scenario that many fifth graders can relate to by buying gear for their favorite hobby, whether it's soccer or not. This provides a problem that makes it clear that math is applicable to fifth graders right now in their lives versus providing them a problem that represents a scenario which they will encounter when they get a job or years from now, which really prohibits a love for math and makes students think that math is not important for right now. But a problem such as this one that is in a real life scenario, a real context that a fifth grader will find themselves involved in, shows that math is important right now. This problem is also good because it assesses more than one math skill. What I call this is getting the most amount of math out of every single problem. In other words, you want to assess as many skills as possible, and this provides a review for students that, without even a formal review, that they can have. So the skills that this assesses are adding money, subtracting money, lining up the decimals when adding or subtracting money, and then also logical thinking. This problem is also considered good because it is in line with Common Core Standard 5.NBT.7, which focuses on adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing numbers to the nearest hundredth. As far as an NCTM problem-solving standard, it does fall in line with the students being able to apply and adapt appropriate strategies to solve problems. And these are the reasons why this is an example of a good advanced math question. Now we're going to look at some examples of not so good math questions, and this is an example of a not so good basic math question. And one of the reasons that it falls in that category, first of all, is that this problem lacks creativity, and a problem such as this one is making the idea of money and spending money very abstract for second graders. It's not in a real life context. There's nothing going on that a student can relate to other than Susie had 25 cents and she spent 4 nickels. However, if the problem had a setting such as Susie went to the candy store and spent 4 nickels and so on, that would make it more concrete for second graders. Now, even though this problem still lines up with Common Core standards and NCTM standards, those are not the only attributes to a good math question. It is very important that the math question is creative, makes the idea very concrete and relatable for the age that it's geared towards. So those are the reasons why this would be considered a not so good math question. This is an example of a not so good intermediate math problem. The reason why it falls in this category is because it provides a problem that is not applicable to a third grader. Problems such as this one is really the reason why so many students are turned off towards math, because they feel that it is not for them right now. Presenting a problem that deals with house repairs and replacing gutters, this is something that third graders really don't even care about, really don't even think about. So a problem like this shows a third grader that math is for 15, 20 years from now, which if someone were teaching me something on a topic that I could use in 15 or 20 years, I probably won't pay attention to them as much as if there's a topic that I can relate to and apply right now in my life. So students will be turned off to these types of problems. And once again, even though it's in line with Common Core and NCTM standards, those are not the only qualities that produce a really good math problem. So those are the reasons why this is considered a not so good intermediate math problem. This is the final question we will look at, and it's an example of a not so good advanced math problem that would fall in line with 5th graders. And once again, the reason why it is not so good is because it is not a real life scenario for a 5th grader. A 5th grader does not really care about, will not be presented with the problem of buying laundry hampers and figuring out the cost or anything like that. So once again, what this does is this shows students that math is not for them right now, but in years to come. So once again, even though it falls in line with Common Core and NCTM standards, this is still an example of a not so good advanced math problem.